Alright, so we're going to jump into the next game. Going to be on Colosseum 2. It's going to be Light versus Soulkey. So, Colosseum 2. This is a very interesting map. I always say that Colosseum 2 is actually very well favored for Zerg because it has this creep outside the natural. It makes it very easy to go ahead and take 3 of these bases very easily, and it's really hard for the Terran player to actually stop it. Taking a far away main, or actually technically it's a far away natural, is pretty easy as well. It's pretty easy to defend, and then you can take the natural, or what is the other main, and sucking it up. It's really easy because there's all these small chokes in to actually get to the three of these bases. So I always say that this is a very strong Zerg map, but yet every single time I've seen a Zerg play on this map, they've gotten completely annihilated by Terran. And I wonder if that's just because Terrans are getting a little bit better at the way that they're dealing with far away bases, at the way that they're putting pressure on the Zerg, or it could just be that a lot of the games I've seen are by flash. So I don't know. It could be one of those two things. In any case, looks like Light is going to be going for a very standard build so far. We'll have to see if he deviates, goes for something crazy like a CC first. Sometimes he can get away with that, but I think that's unlikely considering this map. If the Zerg has some sort of special strategy planned for you, there's a very good chance you could actually lose to something dumb like a 10-pool sunken rush out of the front that can kind of contain you for a long time. That is a very realistic strategy you can do on this map. I'm not sure if it's the best strategy in the world, but it is something that can actually be done. In this case, it is going to be the fast expansion for Soulkey. This is what we see 99.9% of the time in ZVT. You see the 12 hatch into usually an 11 to 13 pool. So it looks like it's going to be the 13 pool. And then it's just going to be going to 3 hatch gas. But actually, it's, oh my gosh, so it's actually going to be a 2 hatch gas coming out from Soulkey. Soulkey mixing it up here, going to be going for something a little bit more old school. And this can either be really fast lurkers or really fast mutas. Usually it signals fast mutaless because 3 hatch works a little bit better for lurkers, since lurkers also cost quite a bit of larva and quite a bit of extra minerals as well. So it could be that he's going for that, but I think it's probably going to be mutaless. And meanwhile, on the other side, again, very, very standard for Terran, is the 1-Rax gasless FE. Going to be going into usually some sort of play that involves getting an academy in eBay and then 3 to 5 racks. So luckily, it looks like Light has gotten a pretty good scout off on his opponent. Gonna know what he's up to. And since he's going for this fast 2 hatch, he's actually just going to be going straight into the 2 racks opening, which to me is a little bit unusual. Obviously going for +1 5 racks is actually really terrible versus fast mutas. And the reason why that is because you end up getting so many units so late that you don't actually have the ability. As the observers point out, it looks like Light doesn't know this map very well. Didn't realize that the mineral line was actually naturally blocked off over there, so a bit of a mistake from him. But as I was saying, it's a little bit surprising to see you don't do the +1 5 racks because you move out so much later, and it's very weak to a lot of mutilus pressure early on. But at the same time, going for the 2 racks pressure is also very strange because that's in particular a build that is designed to punish the tech of a 3 hatch build and hit a timing attack right before they actually get the units they need, the layer tech units they need to actually hold off any sort of early marine medic pressure. So it's surprising to see that come out so early from Light. Usually the natural response to this is just 3 racks tech. So this will be pretty interesting to see. I am not as familiar with 2 hatch muta builds, so I could definitely be wrong. Soulkey doing a good job picking off that SCV, but at this point the SCV's gotten all the scouting information it needs, has already confirmed that there was a lair on the way, has already confirmed that it was a spire as well, so this is not surprising at all to see. And here's going to be the third base going up for Soulkey. It looks like it's going to come down in this main area instead of the high ground natural areas. So, pretty smart ideas coming out from Soulkey. A bit surprised to not see it on the high ground, because usually you want to protect that with lurkers. But either way, I think he'll have a decent shot at defending it decently with just the meatless micro, depending on how good his meatless micro is, really. Here's the eBay coming down, as well as the Academy, so he's going to be able to get full information on his opponent. We'll have to see if more racks come down soon for Light. He really needs more than 2 racks to deal with this meatless pressure. It can be very difficult to deal with if you only have 2 racks producing Marines. The pressure can mount up very, very quickly as Marines start going down to the meatless micro. But first meatless should be out on the way very, very soon, and this push is starting to slowly move out across the map, starting to put some pressure. Meanwhile, Mr. Chart's coming down in the bases as well, going to be able to slow down those meatless a little bit. Not necessarily stop them, but slow them down. Wait, is this not campaign? This is not the campaign, surprisingly. These are professional players playing against each other in a test of wills. So good missile turret placement, but not good enough. It's going to allow Soulkey to actually just walk straight into the main, and there's nothing here to defend. Oh my gosh, these racks are going to start to be delayed, and is Light just going to go for the YOLO all-in behind this? Is he not going to have the reinforcements? He can't rely on reinforcements from only 2 racks. It's not going to work versus 2 Hachimura. He may have made a huge mistake here. He's going to try to get a nice arc on top of all of these Sunkins, but there's already 3 Sunkins in the natural and a couple of Lings. This is going to be very hard to actually pull off. He's done a pretty good job of picking off maybe a couple of meatless there. No, not quite. Looks like he is going to be surviving for a little bit longer, but those 2 barracks were delayed significantly, and that's going to cause some problems for him. So, Soulkey has done a really good job of defending while being aggressive at the same time. The shield and sword technique, as you might say, opposite of cloak and dagger. That's the melee version where you stand up and kill your opponent, but wow, Light is actually going to be losing his Academy, and I'm not sure if he got Marine range in time. I think he should have, because he had plenty of time to actually get it, so he should have both of his upgrades. It shouldn't be too much of a problem, but he is going to have to rebuild it in the future if he ever wants to build any more comsat stations, so that is one of the issues with that. Couple of Lings just scouting around the map. Look at the map, though. There's just like swarms of bees running around. Soulkey doing a fantastic job of just scouting around the map and getting a good idea of where his opponent is. He's got to be careful with this meatless micro. He can't lose too many meatless, and there are so many units coming out across the map from Light. Light, I think, is just going to drill that 3rd base as soon as he can. But he's got to be careful about the counterattack. There's a very realistic possibility the counterattack could come in and ruin his day, so he's trying to be a little bit careful about how he splits up these units. I wish he would have been able to bring all of his units back, but he's very worried about this counterattack coming in with a couple of Lings. In any case, he is actually going to be able to go over to... Oh my gosh, he thinks it's up on the high ground, but I mean, he can see the creep, so he's going to notice in a second. It's pretty hilarious, though, that he got it straight for that high ground without realizing that there were still units over here. Actually, a lot of the drones surviving, so they're going to be able to actually get out of this base. That's actually a pretty big deal. Saving 3 of those drones from that base is a huge deal. Here comes the counterattack trying to get in, but it's not going to do any damage. Meatless wrapping around the back, trying to get a little bit of damage back onto that middle line. Maybe sniping a few of these SCVs, but this is very all-in from Soulkey right now. This might be a way for Light to actually come back and win the game. So far, Light has actually denied that 3rd base from Soulkey. Soulkey didn't have any Sunkins in the front, and that was maybe a bit of a mistake from him, relying too heavily on his meatless pressure. And so far, Light has actually handled this very, very nicely. Light is in a significant lead after taking down that 3rd base, and he's just going to continue to control the chokes, continue to use this one force of Marine Medic out on the map to cause all kinds of problems. And these meals really have not paid for themselves in any significant way at this point. Ugh, excuse me. Mitos have done a pretty good job of delaying some of these buildings, but with all of these units still pushing out across the map, it's difficult for this advantage to really materialize in anything, and that's one thing that I worry about for for Soulkey, is even though he's gotten a lot of damage done, he really has to outright win the game with these mutas. Otherwise, it can be very impossible for him to actually get into this game. He's doing a pretty good job so far, this Mutos micro. He's killed off a lot of Marines in the process, and now he's going to start cycling out more and more of these Mutalisks as they start to get low, which is going to allow him to start trading better and better and better as he continues to keep playing. But Light has continued to deny that third base, and this is more or less an all-in from Soulkey at this point. He's just making pure Mutalisks. He hasn't even tried to take a third base again, and all Light has to do at this point is just defend until he gets Science Vessels. He's got double starport on the way, so he's going to have lots of units coming out soon. As long as he has double starports, he can easily clean this up. Soulkey really needs to build around him and just clean up that force on the middle of the map, but instead he's just relying very heavily on these Mutalisks, and Light doing a good job of reading his opponent, adding a few more missile turrets into that natural right now. It's going to be able to completely deny anything from coming out. Mutalisks micro is still pretty good from Soulkey, but he has to clean up this force out in the middle of the map. Otherwise, this isn't going to turn into anything. Once these two forces combine, this is going to be an unstoppable Marine medic force that no amount of Ling medic, or sorry, no amount of Ling Muta will ever actually be able to clean up. Double starports on the way with that Science Vessels coming out soon as well. This is devastating. Soulkey doing a really good job of just trying to fly in and get some damage, but at this point he's just taking a lot of free damage on these Mutalisks. He's not even really doing all that much. Picked off a couple SCVs here and there, but this is a death push coming out across the map from Light, and all Soulkey has is just pure Mutaling. That's not going to be enough to actually deal with this unless he micros like a god with two Mutalisk packs in different places, which he can't quite do because he's not really Jaedong. He's going to lose a lot of those Mutalisks. That is really, really beautiful. This was an opening of 2-hatch Muta. It has now turned into 3-hatch Muta, but it is an all-in because it took him a long time to take a third base. There's a reason why this went out of style. So, we're going to be continuing to try to kill off lots of units. There are a ton of Mutalisks out here, though. They're going to be able to get on top. Oh my gosh, Science Vessels don't have a radiate yet. Okay, one irradiate does come out, but good splits so far, going to be able to actually kill that off. But there are a lot of Marines over here going to be able to pick off a lot of these Mutalisks, and nothing in the expansion to defend. No lurkers yet. It's just pure sunken, so that's probably not going to be enough. But meanwhile, there are tons and tons of units inside the Terran base, still getting a lot of damage done. Will they be able to actually clean everything up, though? That is the question. Still units on top of the production, but one bunker does get built. That is the possibility of units actually being able to survive. It looks like this natural has actually been broken quite well. All the Mutalisks going down. There's the GG. Soulkey taps out. Brilliant play by Light, just completely controlling the map and forcing Soulkey into going very heavily into those Mutalisks.